Captain America is one of the oldest and most important members of the Avengers, and since he's such an iconic character in pop culture, do you have any idea how many times the first Avenger has been referenced in other shows? For example, in 2021, we got the amazing movie Free Guy starring Ryan Reynolds, who is basically the guy who loves making fun of Marvel characters the most. Proof of this is the fact that he and Deadpool practically seem like the same person. And when we get to the movie's final fight scene, where Guy is about to be obliterated by his super muscular version, he summons the one item that could save him at that moment, Captain America's shield, and the reference to Steve Rogers is so huge that we even see Chris Evans himself, who played the character in the MCU's Infinity Saga, making a special cameo at this part of the movie. This scene was easily one of the funniest in the whole movie. Today, we're going to show you 19 of the most incredible references to the first Avenger, Captain America, in cartoons, movies, and TV shows. If you want to have your mind blown, join us and check out this video now. If there's one animated show that loves parodying everything and everyone, it's definitely The Simpsons. And in one of the show's older episodes, from a series that's been running for nearly 40 seasons, we see Dr. Hibbert show up at a superhero convention dressed as Captain America. This means that Dr. Hibbert was probably the first black version of Captain America in any production, way before Sam Wilson officially took on the mantle in Captain America. Brave new world. Who would have thought, right? Still in The Simpsons, jumping to a much more recent season, we have the episode 101 Mitigations, Season 30, Episode 15, where Homer, Lisa, and Bart visit the comic book guy's store in the middle of the night. There, we see references to several comic book characters, including the Thing and the Hulk. But if we look closely at the storage room wall, we can spot a poster that says Everyman. Without a doubt, this is a reference to the idea that Captain America is just a guy with a shield, something many haters like to say. But we all know there's way more to the character than that. After all, this guy was even able to wield Thor's hammer against Thanos. That's not something just anyone can do. Even so, this same joke is made in another animated show that loves mocking practically every cartoon and movie out there, Family Guy. Peter claims that he will protect all the people on his street just like Captain America. Then we cut to a scene where two criminals ask Captain America if they can take a look at his shield, only to immediately shoot him down. Right after that, the guy who fired the shot says that Cap is just a guy with a shield, meaning nothing special. But this isn't the only time the show pokes fun at the lack of special abilities among the Avengers. That's because they do the same thing with Black Widow when she's trying out to join the superhero team, and everyone is against it because all she can do is kick, and we can clearly see that one of the members voting against her joining the group is none other than Captain America himself. Quite ironic, don't you think? One of the most famous comedy shows in the United States is, without a doubt, Saturday Night Live. It constantly parodies the biggest movies and actors of the moment, and when the first Avengers movie was released, the SNL cast put together a hilarious parody featuring all the members of the superhero team, with special attention to the core group of heroes and founding members. And of course, Captain America was the one leading them. Another show that is extremely ironic to say the least, and loves making jokes about famous comic book characters is South Park. In one Halloween episode, we see Stan, one of the four main characters, getting a Captain America costume from his mom, which he later wears while trick-or-treating with his friends. But instead of walking around, he uses a robot to collect candy, so his costume doesn't get dirty. Notice how each of the four boys is dressed as a different Avenger. Now, in honor of the first Avenger, comment America below so we can give your comment a like and get to know you. In another South Park episode, we get yet another reference to Captain America. This time, it happens during an interview segment, where a character is criticizing a vigilante who has appeared in South Park. He sarcastically wonders how long it will take before this vigilante adopts the ideology of Captain America from his third movie, Civil War, implying that Cap is dangerous.
He's a menace if you ask me. How long before this vigilante gets radical and blows up a school or a church, huh? How long before Captain America becomes Captain Ideology?
Moving on to The Simpsons, in one of the show's more recent episodes, we see a group of characters gathering in front of Homer's house, with each one representing a superhero from the now merged Marvel and Fox universes, ever since both were acquired by Disney. And if you look closely, you'll notice that Herman, the character who runs a military antiques shop and is a former soldier, is holding a shield with blue and red details and a large white star in the center. This is, without a doubt, a clear nod to Captain America. Back to Family Guy, there's an episode that parodies spy movies, where Stewie plays the villain, taking on the role of Blofeld, the head of the Spectre organization. And we see that Peter, even though he's dressed as James Bond, surprises everyone by randomly pulling out Captain America's shield in the middle of a fight against Stewie's henchmen, using it to deflect bullets and protect himself and Lois. Of course, the whole thing is done in a sarcastic tone. Then, as if by magic, he uses the shield to knock out all the armed guys in pure Avengers style. In another episode of Family Guy, the show presents an alternate version of the character we're talking about in this video, where he becomes the captain of Central America. Because of this, he takes on an appearance that fits the stereotype of an undocumented immigrant coming from Latin American countries to the United States. His blonde hair is now black, he has a thick mustache, a big belt buckle, and cowboy boots. To complete his look as a knockoff version of Captain America, the scientists even give Captain Central America a trash can lid as a shield. Without a doubt, this is one of the most controversial and offensive references involving Captain America. One of the oldest and most famous YouTubers YouTube channels for comedy, gaming, and parodies is The Warp Zone, where these guys make fun of pretty much everything and everyone. In one of their videos dedicated entirely to Captain America, the channel imagines what Steve Rogers' life was like after he returned to be with Peggy Carter and spent his entire life with the woman he loved. The funny part is that now that Captain America is just a regular civilian, he can't interfere with anything to avoid disrupting the timeline. That means he has to sit back and not stop the assassination of JFK, or warn that the US wouldn't exactly have the best time in the Vietnam War. No doubt this is a hilarious video and totally worth watching. Another show that loved to make references and parodies was Mad. If we take a trip down memory lane, we'll find an episode almost entirely dedicated to roasting Captain America, the first Avenger. They mock things like how Steve Rogers' pants somehow still fit him even after taking the super soldier serum, and how the doctor wanted to touch Cap's muscles the moment he stepped out of the machine, just like Peggy Carter did in the original film. Now, on a serious note, if you love pop culture content like this, you definitely need to subscribe. Hit that button below and join our community of fans. Going back to The Simpsons, and also back to the comic book guy's store, there's an episode where he's hosting a big launch event at his shop. In the line of customers, we can spot several people cosplaying as famous characters like The Flash, Green Lantern, Dr. Fate, and even a version of Dr. Octopus wearing underwear over his clothes. But without a doubt, the one that stood out the most was the Canadian Captain America, played by the little kid at the very front of the line. Instead of the iconic star symbol from the US flag, his suit features the maple leaf, a nod to Canada's national flag. On top of that, instead of the A for America on his forehead, he proudly sports a C for Canada. Yet another brilliant troll from The Simpsons animators. Robot Chicken is another show that loves making funny, yet sharp-edged references to characters we all know and love. And of course, Captain America is no exception. In one of its episodes, we see two sad children because Santa Claus didn't bring them any presents. However, to make up for it, they get a visit from another very famous character, Captain America. In another scene from the same show, but in a different episode, the writers poke fun at the fact that Captain America's shield works almost like a boomerang, except in reality, it wouldn't exactly work that way. He throws it, but this time, the shield doesn't come back. And in yet another moment, we see Hollywood producers debating which actor they should cast for their next big movie. Suddenly, none other than Captain America himself bursts through a green door in the middle of the theater, doing some hilarious dance moves and using his own shield to win them over, proving that he's the perfect guy for the role. And of course, we couldn't leave out the first Avengers appearance in one of the cartoons that defined my childhood, Spider-Man from 1994. In this amazing animated series, Peter is forced to assemble a group of heroes to help him take on a team of supervillains, and among them is none other than Red Skull himself. Naturally, Peter Parker's obvious choice to assist Spider-Man is, of course, Captain America. The only problem? Our good old Steve Rogers ends up flirting with Black Cat, one of Spidey's love interests. Of course, anything goes for the greater good, right? And in another episode of the world's most famous Yellow Family, we get to see a fun reference during a Halloween celebration. As everyone is dressed up as superheroes, a character in the background is wearing an outfit almost identical to Captain America's original costume, except the blue has been swapped out for purple. But there's no doubt about it. The red and white stripes are there, proving it's a direct nod to the character. We've picked out 2 more videos for you to watch and enjoy. See you in the next one. Thanks for watching.